it's Angela here again today. Welcome back. Hope you're all doing well. I've eventually got to the next episode, and today we're going to work on binding our pages into our cover. So as you'll remember, we've got quite a few pages here. I think it's about 20 or so, I think, plus odds and ends of envelopes and everything else. So we're going to put this into our cover in a very simple way. So this is just for a signature, but you could do this for more than one signature if that's what you needed to do. So let's just have a look at some of the things that we need, and then I can talk you through that. So you're going to need a pair of scissors. These are the ones that cut my finger the other day. A pencil. Get hold of a ruler. Always good. You're going to need a needle. Sorry, you're going to need a needle. So here's a needle, and the needle I like to use isn't too thick. So this is like almost like a tapestry kind of needle, and the shaft of the needle isn't too thick at all, and it's slightly rounded, which is fine because sometimes you can catch the point of your needle into your pages. So this really is perfect. Also, you want to have it, the eye of the needle, big enough so that you can fit through your actual thread, which is what I'll get onto in a second. So that'll do the job 100%. All right. You want to get hold of something. This is like a piece of packaging. It's like Foamolite, really firm Foamolite. And I use this so when I'm making holes through my cover or my signatures, that you've got something to put it into. So this is about 1 centimeter or like a 1/2 inch thick. So it's just a packaging bit that I've kept. So there's that. Then what you can use is, this is what we call an awl, AWL, if you want to look that up on Amazon. I don't always use this. This because it's got quite a wide sort of angle here, and that makes the hole in the journal quite thick and big, and I don't really like that. What I tend to use is, but those work and people use them all the time, I use my pokey tool, which is something that I got long ago from a making memories kit for my brad setting tool. So this is usually what I use, but anything that you can get hold of that's going to make a hole through your papers and through your cover is going to work. If you want to get an awl, then get one. You know, that is what is traditionally used. So work with whatever suits you best. All right, so that's basically it. I have got a little puncher which I'm going to use to put on the end of the strings. Anything would work, circles, whatever you have, or you can make something up. And then we're going to use some thread. So this is just crochet thread. I don't use wax thread, people do, it's a personal choice. I have this, so I use this. This is just a standard cream crochet thread. So that's what I'm going to use that's what I use to bind my journals with. All right, and then just get a scrap piece of board, and I'm going to show you what you need to do with this. This needs to be the length of your book pages. So this is 21 centimeters more or less, and if I look in inches, we're looking at about 8 1/4 inches long, and then about, doesn't matter because it's just a guide, 3 1/2 inches, or this is about 9 centimeters. I'm going to show you what you need to do with that. So any scrap board that you can use. All right, so keep your ruler aside, and those are the tools that we're going to need. And let's get started and get this journal finished. All right, so first thing that you want to do is we're going to work on positioning our cover and making the marks that we want to use for that. Now, because this is indefinite with where this is going to bend, I tend to do it from this side. And what I do here is I use a ruler and a pencil really, and it's not difficult. Because I'm only putting in one signature here, I want to just find the middle position between these folded lines. So I've just gauged it here, and just make some marks so that you can run your ruler and do a very thin line with your pencil. That's going to be your guideline. Now I am going to stick lace over here, but with a pencil you can rub it out or you can cover it up. You can do it on the inside, but this is just obviously my way of doing it, so that's what I do there. All right, so then what we want to do first of all is we're going to use that line there to make the various holes to put in our signature. All right, so that's where you're going to position it. So just put that to the side for a minute and grab back the signature. Now what we want to do is we want to tap all our pages. First of all, make sure that where you have everything is where you want that this is at the bottom, not in the middle or wherever it is. So just have a quick breeze through here and make sure that nothing is shifted before we go and clamp these all together. All right, so it's just a quick breeze through, and make sure I'm pretty happy with everything where it is, and I am. All right, so then you're going to take it and just tap it on your table, all right, like that. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take a piece of cardboard, and what I did was I measured it to the length of these pages. All right, so whatever the length of your pages are, cut a piece of cardboard that's going to fit perfectly and fold it in half. All right, so that's what you're going to do. And then what we're going to do is we are going to take our ruler, and in the middle section here we're going to measure a standard. For me it's like 1.5 centimeters from the top. I make a little spot with my pencil and I measure 1.5 centimeters from the bottom, 1.5, and make a little spot. And then what we're going to do is we're going to find the middle. Okay, so that would be, in this case, it would be 10.5. So we're going to make a little spot. And then we're going to divide the difference between the top spot and the middle spot and make another little spot. And I'm not giving you the values because it'll be different depending on the size of your journal. And then move again to the middle spot and the spot you made at the top. And that should be the same as that really, but just make a middle spot there. All right, so that now gives you 5 spots. One there, one there, one in the middle, and one either side of that. All right, so that's what we're going to do. And then you would take your pokey tool and press it through each one of those. Obviously use this. Don't do it in your hand so you don't end up stabbing yourself. All right, so this is now going to be our guide. Now what I do is I write top on there. It makes no difference, but it's just when I'm putting in more than one signature, I want to just be absolutely sure that I'm using this. It might be a millimeter or so out, but I'll make sure I use it the same way every time. All right, so it's not necessary for one. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to take our signature again, give it another tap, make sure you line up all those pages nice and straight, push them in as much as you can, and get the middle of your signature with your finger there, and just grip it like that and open it. Okay, keep that hand on the side here so that you're tapping it, and take your little template, slide it down into the middle of your signature like that, and press that down. Okay, now what we need to do here is get our little grips. Oh, I forgot to mention, I've got 4 of these little bull clips. You could use any kind of a clamp that's going to keep the pages in half. So the first one that you want to do is push your finger down into the center of the signature, and just pushing all the pages as flat as you can, and then this becomes awkward. Trying to do it and not move everything. So I've got my thumb pushing down in there, I've got my hand keeping that there, and I'm going to take my ball clip and I'm going to just clip it across the template and the pages. Then I'm going to take another one and go to put my nail in the bottom there, take another one and put it on the opposite side. Okay, so we've got two on there like that. I'll take another one and push them all together, put one on there, and the same on that side. Push them all together like that. All right, so there we have it. We've got 4 in place. All right, so everything is staying as you want it. Take your little spongy thing, and get hold of your awl or your pokey tool, and what you want to do is you want to just get your pokey tool, and then you're going to drive your pokey tool through your signature. Now it could be quite stiff at times, but just press it down, move it along. Keep this as upright as you can so that you get a hole that's going to go straight down and not at an angle. So just press that down and then release it. And then again, straight down. And depending how many envelopes or other bits and pieces you've got in here, it'll either be easy or not so easy. All right, so we've got 5 holes now that we've got pressed out there. All right, so we've just followed our little template. Now what we can do is slide your clip up to the side of your template and then back down again, just so that you're releasing the template. And then on the other side again, slide it up, slide it down, slide it up, slide it down. So your pages aren't going to move, but your template is now released. And you can see here that I have my 5 holes in place, and this is keeping everything together. All right, just put that aside for the moment and get your cover back again. And now we're going to do the same here. Now this is the top bit, and this will be shorter than your actual cover because your cover has to have a little space either side to encapsulate and be a little bit bigger than your actual signature. So what I do here is I take my template again, fold it in half, look for the line that we talked about here, and just place this against the line, your template against the line. Now what I want you to do is just need to eyeball that you've got an equal distance there to that side there, just like that. If you were doing more than one signature, I would suggest that you draw a line. Let me do it here. Draw a line straight across, that you know where you need to keep positioning as you move this along. All right, but for this purpose today, that's our line. There's the line that we're matching this template to, just like that. All right, and then hold the bottom part of it and just keep that in line there, and that's on the line there like that. And you can now just go and make your little holes through your template. Okay, so this now, when we remove that, we've got our little spots along our line, and these holes will now match up with the holes that we've made in our signature. Okay, I hope that makes sense to everybody. Now take your little spongy bit thing with whatever you're going to put holes into, and now you're going to press a hole through each one of these little spots, and again try and keep it as upright as you can. Okay, It is nerve-wracking doing this. Actually, I don't think I've got over it yet. I've made quite a few journals. Alright, so there we've got our 5 holes. Now, if you want to, you can take this off. It's up to you. As I said, I'm going to cover it, so it doesn't really matter. But on a paper surface, you can do this. Or on a fabric surface, well, that's a different story. But yeah, there we go, like it was never there. Okay. Now, I do press them in from this side, because if you're not going to cover this and you press them from the other side, you sort of get the paper pushed out on this side, and then, you know, you don't necessarily want that. So it's just a small thought, but obviously do whatever suits you. I just think it's much clearer to work between these 2 fold lines here. Right, so we're going to turn this back over now. We can see our holes there. That one just needs to be a little... just make sure you make them, and don't stab your hand if you're doing this. Right, so there we go. We can see them through there. We can bring back our signature now. That's going to get ready to be sewn in. Now, what we want to do next is we want to get hold of our thread. Now, whatever you're using, if you're using a wax linen thread or whatever you choose to use, you need to now work out how many lengths or how long it needs to be. So the rule of thumb is really 3 times the length of your book. Oops, there, it's on the floor. Right, so that's what I work with, is 3 times the length of the journal. And then we're just going to cut that off there. Okay, can stay on the floor now. And now what we want to do is, let me just put that at an angle, is grab your needle. And as I said, try and make it as thin a needle as you can get away with. It won't be able to be too thin, because you'll struggle to get your thread through your the eye. Okay, so in my case, you can always use one of these. I'm having a hard time working that. Right, so do that. When I was younger, I used to throw these away. I think, why do you want that? But you know, now I hang on to them. Right, so we've got our thread in there now. So that's all sorted. Now what I like to do is I take the other end of the thread and I just clip it without moving this too much. I just clip it underneath the middle part of this ball clip. It's just going to give it some kind of keep it secure, keep it there, that I'm not going to pull it all the way through. Now what we want to do is we want to start and put our needle through the middle. So that should be able to go through quite well. That means our pages haven't moved. And then please make sure you've got this the right way up. I have sewn signatures in because I'm rushing and I haven't paid attention to which was the right side up. So do make sure by looking at the picture that you've got it the right way up. We don't want to be sewing it in like that. You'll cry. Okay, so make sure that's the right way up. Then take it to the side and just gently push it through the middle hole there. Sorry for my arm. Okay, so you've got that through there, and now you can match it up to the bottom of the cover. Right, now we're going to go through our middle hole over there. So put your needle through and put it through this middle hole over here. And sometimes it doesn't always just want to go where you want it to go, like now. Okay, and that does happen. So what I do is I then pull this off and I thread the needle through this way, and for some reason it likes it that way more than the other way, and then it's just a case of rethreading your needle. So let's see if I can get this through here. The eye of this needle's bent a bit, but it's a really old needle and I really like it. Oh, there we go. So we have managed to thread it through there. So there we go. That's what you can do if you're struggling to get it through. Go through the other way. All right, so we've gone through there. Now we're going to go through the top one. So press it through there and press it through the hole that you can see from that side, like that. Right, and now before we do any more, let's start making these tighter. So just pull onto your thread. Okay, just so that you're starting to get it being firmer against the top here. We can give it a good press in a minute. Right, back again through this second hole and then straight through the second hole on your journal. That time it played ball, so that's all right. Okay, give it a little tug, not too hard because you'll break the thread or make the holes or tear the pages, so be mindful of that. Right, so we've come through that second hole. Now we're going to miss a hole and go into the fourth hole. So go straight down into there. And while you're at it, look for the fourth hole in your spine, just like that. Okay, so give it a little tug. Just like that. And then look for the fifth hole along there and the fifth hole in your journal, which I can't see at this angle. So let's find that again. There's the fifth hole. Okay, let's do that one then. And then again, because I can't find it, I'm just going to release that there. Rather than struggle, shove it through the fifth hole that way. There we go. And then just thread it through. Yeah, it becomes difficult when you're struggling to see. So, sorry about this. Okay, like that. There we go. Okay, so now we can pull that through there, like that. Okay, we're nearly home free. Now we got to go back into the fourth hole on top of the journal there. And of course, then through the fourth hole through the cover. We've only got one more to go. Okay, now let's just check. You can check the tightness of your threads by going like this, and it should be tighter than that. So if they're not really tight, then this is a good time to start pulling on the various sections until you can feel that they are tight. Okay, so let's do the last one then. So we're going through the middle hole, through the cover, and then through the middle here. Now because you've got one string that started that side, try and get the needle to go up the other side of the string. It's just better that way, so that it's not going to make a decent knot. Right, you can take off your clips now. We've got all 5 holes sewn into, and now you want to give this a little tug, each one, not overly hard. And then before you knot this, just pluck each one of these strings and make sure that it is nice and tight, and check on the underneath side. Okay, so this one is looking all right. Okay, so right, so now we've got our thread in the middle. Make a little knot, make 2 knots. I make 2 knots, and then I like to bring them together like that, and then I tend to cut them off over there. All right, you can leave them longer, that's also personal choice. So now, before we come back to the middle, let's just have a look how our signature is lying. Okay, that looks good. Okay, that just needs to be clipped on. All right, so we've got an ample space at the top there, which is great, and we've got ample space at the bottom there as well. So this is just flying around, needs to be clipped down. So I'm happy with that. Okay, right, now what we want to do is we want to take some, you don't have to do this, you can leave the strings as they are, make a bow, whatever you want. I've just got a little scrap here. Let's find a better scrap. So here's a little scrap, and all I want to do is I just want to get a little something going on for the end of my strings. So I think I cut one off a bit short. Okay. Right, so what we're going to do now is it's a case of getting one of these. Use circles, whatever you have. Don't have to use anything at all. Then just put glue on one of them, like that. Get hold of one of your strings, put it in the middle, like that. And then you just put on another on top of it, so it sort of encapsulates the string, just like that. Okay, and then the same with the other. So we just put some more glue on there. You can ink around it when if you want. Put the other string on there. Just press it down. And then just put another one on the top of that, like that, and line them up. There we go. So there we go. Right, so there's that all done. Okay, so there we go with that. Now what I would do here is, you can see we've got our pamphlet stitch here. I don't want to really see that, so what I've got is just a piece of lace that I'm going to stick over that. So I'm going to just take my book like this, and I'm going to use the 3-in-1 beacon, because as you know, I really rate this glue as far as fabric and on paper or just fabric is concerned. So we're going to use a bit of this, and then let's just make sure while I'm doing that in fact this, yeah, that's going to be fine. Right, so then I'm just going to run this. I don't want to put too much on here. In fact, I'm going to run my finger over this in a minute, because it is a crocheted lace, so you know it's got holes in, and I don't want it all oozing out. So let's just put that lid on there before that oozes all out. And then with your one finger, just move that evenly over there, and then grip the spine of your book, and then just start putting that on as you go. Right, and that's going to cover all that sewing bit on there. If you want to leave the sewing bit there, you can. You know, this is just an option. I'm just giving you different ideas. Let me get my other fabric scissors that are much sharper. Probably take my arm off with these, not just cut the finger Okay, so we just cut that off there, and a little bit off there, and we'll leave that to dry nicely, and that will dry really nicely. Okay, now because this is a paper cover, what you can do here is you can Mod Podge this. So I will do that just to seal it, and cover that all over so it's sealed nicely, and that will give it a really robust, long-lasting cover. So we've got everything sorted there. Now I'll show you quickly how what I do for putting in my closure, which is really easy. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use eyelets. So we won't use the small ones, we'll use the bigger ones. So you can use these small ones. These are formal eyelets. I'm going to use some of these. So I'm going to just put in, these are the wider eyelets which work very well with a crocodile. So I'm just going to get 2 of these. So I think I'm going to use the coppery ones. Okay, so that can go back in there. Alright, and again what you need to do is just take your ruler and find middle ground, the middle point. So again, get your pencil. This is 22 centimeters, so we're looking for 11, and you can make a spot there because you're going to punch a hole, and then do the same on the other side. So turn it over and find 11 again, or whatever the difference is on whatever the middle point is on your journal, and just make a little a dot there. Doesn't matter about the dots because we're going to put a hole straight through. And then get your crocodile. Now if you don't have a crocodile, you know, you can use a eyelet punch thing. You can just tie, I mean in the beginning I never had a crocodile, and I just tied my closure right round, you know, that can work as well. So you don't have to do this. You can also put the closure in here, sorry, you can stick the closure in here before you put on the end papers for your journal cover. You can do that as well. So once you've got, just before you stick these down, you can lay some fabric there, glue it down, and then put this inner cover on. So you can do that as well. So there are different ways of doing it. Right, so I'm going to just take this quickly, and let's just get wise here, Angela. Because this is a wide one, I want to make sure I'm not going to like get it in the wrong spot. So I'm going to want it over there. So if I have it over there, then we're looking at about there. So it just shows you. Be mindful of how wide your eyelet is. Okay, and then we'll just punch that straight through, and then that can fit in there just as well. I checked, and now we can just set that quickly like that. So there's the one, just like that, and then on the other side same thing. Just be mindful of the edge that you want. I'm just lining it up where I would have put it, and I'm going to just make a second dot over there. Okay, obviously it's closer if the eyelet's smaller. Right, so we'll just take this and do that, and then put that in there, and set that like that. There we go. Okay, so that's all done. So all we need to do now is find ourselves a nice ribbon to tie in there. So let's look for that quickly. Okay, so I'm going to use a nice pink shade of seam binding. So I want it to be not too short, so to have plenty length. So that will be for the one, and then I'll just make another one here. You can use anything you want for the binding. You can use seam binding, ribbon, or, you know, you can use sari silk, whatever it is that you choose to use. You can crinkle it, not crinkle it. The choices are endless. So, you know, you can use twine. There's so many options. Right, so what I do is I fold the ribbon in half, like that. Make it narrow so that we can get it through from the top. And then open that up. I've halved the ribbon. It's double length. And then we're just going to pull it like that. So let's just do it again here. Get fold the ribbon in half. Just like that. Yeah, find the halfway mark. Just make a bit of a point with it to make it narrow. Yeah. Put it through the hole at the top. Open the gap, thread the ribbon through, and there you have it. Okay, there we go. All right, so we've got our closure on as well. Okay, so that will look really pretty, and you've got lots of space here because I haven't put in the ephemera yet. Right, so that just shows you've got lots of space there, beautiful bows, really pretty, and it's got lots of space to open and close as much as I haven't filled it up yet, so it'll probably get even fatter. All right, so I hope that's been helpful. I hope you know now how to go about putting in your signature. And the very next video I'm going to do is with it all puffed up and filled with all its tags and all its little cards and bits of ephemera. So the next video will be the little flip through, which will be not very long. Okay, so thank you for joining me on this little journey, which has been very drawn out with everything I've done in between. I hope it's helped you. If you've got any questions, then just get hold of me or leave them in the comments. I'm always happy to help you with anything you need to know. So thank you, everybody, and I'll look forward to the flip through of this little journal very soon. Bye-bye.